There's a power within you. It lifts your life to its highest level. It brings success, companionship, happiness, health, and peace of mind. As you tap into this power, it will respond to you because this power is within you. And that's why spirituality rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns, delighted to bring you another fantastic episode where we teach New Thought principles, or what's called practical spirituality. New Thought teaches that there's one ultimate presence and power in the universe, one loving energy that expresses in you, through you, and as you. This power is omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, all-knowing, omnipresent, everywhere present, and omni-action. This power works in and through all of life, everywhere. We teach that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, according to the strength and the desire contained within the thought. So yes, we teach positive thinking, but it's not just casual positive thinking. It is your belief systems. It's your core belief systems. So we teach you not what to think, but how to think. And I'm delighted to be with you here today. And I want to start by telling you a story. It's a pretty common story in New Thought. You may or may not heard it. And it's about this guy who was on a dock and he was fishing. And he was fishing all afternoon, and he'd catch these fish, and he'd catch these good-sized fishes, and he'd reel them in, and he'd go, oh, darn, and he'd pull them off the hook and throw them back in the water. This happened again. He caught another fish, good size, almost a foot long, reeled it in, and he said, oh, darn, and he took it off this hook and threw it back in the water. This happened a few times, and so finally, the guy who was fishing next to him came over to him and said, you keep throwing these fish back into the water. And he goes, yep. And then all of a sudden, while he's talking, he gets this fish and he pulls it in while he's talking to this guy, and it's a fingerling. It's this little itty bitty fish, and he goes, yay, look at it, check it out. And the guy goes, wait a minute, you threw all those big fat fish back into the water and you're keeping this little fingerling. I don't get it. And the guy said, yep, I got a small frying pan. That laughter you're hearing is Reverend Sabbath Mchunguzi.
He's
my
before.
You not heard that one?
No, I never. I may use it.
You may use it. This is my co-host. This is Reverend Sabbath Mchunguzi. He's from Unity Church of Healing Light. Welcome to the show.
Yes, great to be here.
You like
always.
that story?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you know, the point of that story is it's a metaphor for how big is your consciousness. Your consciousness meaning your awareness, your understanding. And particularly we're talking about your awareness and understanding of the power of God that seeks to express in you, through you, and as you. And so in New Thought, you've heard us, we've talked on the show before, that the two main aspects of this power, spirit, God, love, infinite intelligence, whatever you choose to call it, are love and wisdom. So love is the energy of spirit. It's the glue that holds the universe together. And then wisdom, we always have divine ideas. The universe always gives us divine ideas. But so many of us have a small frying pan, meaning that we have a small consciousness. We haven't expanded our consciousness. We haven't realized that this amazing power expresses, that the action of God expresses according to our thinking, according to our attitudes, according to our beliefs. And so we need to expand our consciousness. And we do this by understanding, learning more about this power and understanding what this power is. I brought along with me today one of my favorite books. It's called This Thing Called You. It's by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And the reason I brought along with me is because I believe it's a real primer in New Thought. And on the show today, who we'll bring on in just a few moments, is the Dean of Emerson Institute. That's where I hold my credentials, where I took my training, Dr. Angelo Pizelo. And I think this is probably one of the key books that we recommend, This Thing Called You. And what I like about it, when I've taught from this book, and I've taught from this book so many places, I like to read it in the first person. And I like to know that that within it are italics, and everything in italics are affirmative prayer. For example, the spirit within me makes all things new. Every negative thought or condition is erased from my consciousness. I'm aware of my union with good. I'm aware of my union with God. I'm conscious of my oneness with all life. I expect more prosperity, more happiness, more harmony than ever before, and I walk in the awareness of increasing good in every aspect of my life.
Wonderful,
so
wonderful.
That's expanding our consciousness.
Yes, and I like the part about expecting more good, because you get what you expect. So if you expect good things to happen or big things to happen to you and for you, then you have a greater chance of them actually happening.
Right.
But if you expect small things or you expect negative things or limited things, then that's what you will get.
Exactly. And, you know, it's done unto you as you believe.
Absolutely.
And so we have to constantly check where of our beliefs. And so many of us are walking around with this small frying pan in our consciousness.
And part of the reason that we have that small frying pan, I believe, is because a lot of people around us also have a small frying pan.
Yeah.
People in our family, you know, our closest friends, they all have a small frying pan. That's kind of part of the reason why they're our close friends, because we all, you know, generally think alike.
Right.
And so if you surround yourselves with big thinkers, then your frying pan, if you will, becomes larger, and then you're able to accomplish more things. Now, the power is within you, is always within you to accomplish more and bigger things, but it's a matter of being, as you said, being more aware of it, being more conscious of it, and being willing to take risks and willing to take some challenges, and being willing to fail.
And being willing to fail. You know, one of my favorite affirmations is, I expand my receptivity and capacity to experience the power of good in my life.
Good.
I
Excellent.
expand my receptivity and capacity to experience the power of good in my life. And you know, you were just, I think a lot of people stand in fear, and there's so many acronyms for fear. Forgetting everything's all right.
Right.
False evidence that appears
Appearing
real.
real.
There's so many things, and we get caught up in fear, and there's so much change. We like to stay status quo, and that's what keeps us in this small frying pan, if you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what do you do? How do you expand your consciousness? Or what have you done to break out of fear?
Well, part of it, I think, is, and what I've done myself, is to use affirmations to constantly affirm, and it's almost like, well, there's a term, auto-suggestion. You're training your mind, you're training your consciousness by repeating the truth. The truth is that you can achieve, you can overcome, you can experience the good that you desire, you can manifest your dreams and goals, and by repeating that, and by affirming that and believing that, and then by visualizing, which I like to do also, visualizing the good that you desire, whatever it may be, then that helps to make it more real, if you will, and helps to make it more concrete.
And a few weeks ago, we had on Mr. 2020. If the guests, if the viewers want to check that out, they can go to www.ustreamtv.com. In the little search engine at the top, you can look up Spirituality Rocks, and you'll see a plethora of shows. And that one was from 2020, and he spoke about that. And what he said was that, what is the feeling when you visualize? Yeah. But I want to talk with you, Reverend Salver, a little bit more about fear, because fear, really, when we define fear, fear is our ego's response to bumping up against the edge of what is known and familiar. Our ego does not like the unknown. We would rather stay in a stinky situation in our life that is familiar rather than stepping out and moving forward. And so fear comes from the protective part of our mind that will tell us just anything to keep us from moving forward. And you've heard that expression, making a mountain out of a molehill.
Right, right.
So what happens is the ego mind says, you know, for example, you're taking a road trip. And so you're taking your road trip, and then you think, well, oh my gosh, what if I have car trouble? And then, well, if I have car trouble, maybe I'll be stranded in the middle of nowhere. And if I'm stranded in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night in the rain, and I have no money, and I'll be all by myself, and you know, someone who helps me, they're an escaped convict, and the mind just goes nuts. It just really gets crazy. So that's why we need to realize that whenever we want to move out of our comfort zone, fear is going to happen. But fear is really false evidence appearing real, and what we need to do is, are we going to let fear keep us in stagnation and paralyze us, or are we going to allow it to grow us spiritually? Are we going to have a greater identification and rise above the fear?
Yes, and realize that there's a power greater than us.
Yes.
And there's a power greater than that fear. So if we align ourselves with that presence and power, again, in our consciousness, because all life is consciousness, if we lift our consciousness and align ourselves with that power that is greater than the fear and greater than all those negative things that may happen to us, then we will rise above them, and we'll be able to
Right.
take care of what we have to do on the outer level.
Exactly, exactly. And, you know, we're going to learn about that in just a few minutes. People can pick up this book, This Thing Called You by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And we are going to have an opportunity to talk more about this idea of how fear paralyzes us and how we can move through it with Dr. Angelo Pizelo. He's joining us on Skype from Oakhurst, California. And what we're going to do is be right back after this commercial break, so don't go far.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am divine.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns, sitting here with my friend and compadre. This is the Reverend Saba Mchunguzi from Unity Church of Healing Light. Now, if you happen to be local, because the show, is international,
Absolutely.
but if you are local and you live on Long Island, you can check out Reverend Saba at Unity Church of Healing Light, and the website is unityhuntingtonny.org, unityhuntingtonny.org. So I'm so excited. I'm sure you've heard me speak about our next guest.
All right, so yeah.
He is the Dean of Emerson Theological Institute. He's a professional educator. He's the Superintendent Emeritus of the Bass Lake Joint Union School District. He holds a BA, an MA, a PhD in school administration. He is a religious science teacher. He has a religious science doctorate of religious studies. He is a Marine Corps veteran, which I know he's very proud. And he is just one of the most profound teachers. This man has enthusiasm, and I just love him inside and out. The Venerable Dr. Angelo Pizelo. Welcome to Spirituality Rocks.
Thank you, Janine. I'm really excited about being here and looking forward to our conversation here. It's going to be wonderful.
Excellent, excellent. So before the break, we were talking about fear. And we said that fear, false evidence appearing real, forgetting everything's all right. And what we were saying is that fear really paralyzes us. Can you talk to us a little bit about fear and perhaps how you get out of it?
I would love to talk about fear. Roosevelt and Kennedy were both right when they said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And to me, fear is the outpicturing of a lower consciousness of separation. That's all it is. It's the outpicturing in our physical environment of separation from our truth self, which is the magnificent oneness that we are with the universal, with God itself. And so when we live, we have two options, I think, in life, and that's two major options. One is one of separation, and one is of unity. Those are the two things. If as a minister and having done this for 44 years now, I can tell you that those are the two major reasons that two major ways in which we experience this universe. Unfortunately, our true potential is not realized by very many people until they leave the planet and then they come back and try again. But we are one. We are magnificent life forms of a divine energy we call God. And we're eternal. We were here before the beginning. We're here right now. And there's nothing that we need to kowtow to in the physical. We're here to experience the physical. What happens is when we give the dynamics of control from the spiritual entity that we are to the outer, when we identify with the outer as controlling us, then that's where fear breeds, and that's where fear enters in the picture. It's kind of ridiculous, and I think one way to mitigate that is for us to start identifying with who we really are, and it's easier said than done. But when we identify with that which we are, another thing that really turns me on in all this is the fact that our universe, we're connected to the I call it the electromagnetic energy of the universe itself, and that's the essence of the universe. When you bring in this idea of fear, then we're disconnecting to the point where we're bringing into our experience, the dark side, the energy of fear, it really destroys us in many ways. Kennedy and Roosevelt were very true when they said that. But if we realize that we are connected to this electromagnetic energy of the universe, and it's a vibratory, and it works on frequency. We're like when I start looking at this, it's kind of fun. When we start looking at this, that we are like a radio and its antenna, and we're vibrating. The reason when we look out into an audience, if we're in front of a church, a congregation, the reason we don't see bright light, and that's what we should see, is because our senses kind of lie to us. Our senses, because it operates much slower, so we see this energy, this vibration in little chunks, like we look at a chair and we see it as a chair. But technically, that chair is in constant motion as well. The reason I'm bringing this up is because fear is a very low vibratory nature, and when we are disconnected, when we put our energy into the control of the universe and give the dynamics of the things we're supposed to be experiencing, the content, when we give the power away to that, it's kind of ridiculous, because what it tells me is that that we create our own existence, but it's like creating a table. We create this table, we build this table, and then we become fearful of that. Everything on the outer experience is our own creations. So what we need to realize is that we have dominion over all that. And so when fear enters into the picture, what it does, it's the outpicturing of our disconnect. And it tells us in consciousness that we are not focusing on our true identity, which is one with this divine energy. I always like to say, what the heck, I'm one with the CEO of the universe itself. I have no needs. I don't need to worry about my checkbook. I don't need to worry about the economy or all the happenings in the universe, the terrorism and all the things that we experience. What I need to realize is that we're here to experience the whole enchilada of life itself. And how we get to that point where we're teaching people that there's really nothing to fear but fear itself is to start working on having people start identifying with who they really are. And it's not that simple sometimes, but we can start like this. I like to look at someone that's in my audience and say this: you can reject the fact that we're life forms of this divine energy. However, have you ever walked into a place like a store and you feel that it's not a place I need to be? We have such a connection to this universal energy that we can actually create without saying one word. We can connect without saying one word. We can create without saying one word. We're powerful, magnificent beings, connected to this life form, connected to the energy source of the universe itself. So with this direct connection, we need to start identifying with it. It's not a simple matter, but it's easy to explain. And I ask people, I said, have you ever walked along a street and then all of a sudden realize that you shouldn't be there in the first place, and then something magnificent happens that shows you shouldn't have been there? That's the connection we have with everything that's going on in the universe itself. And what we don't want to do, because when we have a lower vibration, what it does, it brings into our experience that which we're putting out there. So if I'm in the outpitching of the disconnection, then what I'm putting out there is this idea that I'm afraid or I'm fearful of what's happening. And so what it does, the universe says, oh, Angelo is fearful. Well, we're going to show him many opportunities to be fearful. And so we bring into our experience that which we're putting out there. So I don't know, I'm rambling on, but why don't you say something?
Right, no, that's one. So then the opposite is true then. So that as we take time to build a strong spiritual foundation, when we learn about what this power is, and we pray and we do meditation and affirmations and spiritual study and hang out with like-minded people and on, we build a strong spiritual foundation, and then the opposite of what you just said, then we begin seeing the synchronicities of life. We find ourselves in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right people, and we live with peace and with joy, and we have a sense of opulence. You know, life is a blessing.
Yes. And what happens also is we find the negative people kind of falling away from our experiences. Why? Because we've elevated our consciousness,
right,
and we're thinking positive. And when people around us are talking negative, well, we don't engage in conversation, and we don't want to stay around them, because we are trying to lift our consciousness and realize the truth and identify with our higher selves, and
right,
identify with that God presence within us. So people that are not like that, well, they kind of fall by the wayside.
They fall by the wayside,
Absolutely.
right. And you know what, we have a commercial break coming up, but you know what I'd like to talk about too is the idea of letting go and forgiveness and release. And I had a conversation with Dr. Pizelo recently about Ho'oponopono. And when we come back from our commercial break, it's a Hawaiian forgiveness technique, a Hawaiian forgiveness prayer. And Dr. Angelo knows a lot about it because he used to teach it. And so we'll look more into that. So don't go far, because we're going to be back very soon with more of Spirituality Rocks.
Inner guidance, peacefully, joyfully, I am divine. peacefully, joyfully. I am divine.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns. I teach practical spirituality. Sitting next to me is my friend, the Reverend Saba Mchunguzi. He's from Unity Church of Healing Light. You can check out his website by going to unityhuntingtonny.com. Unfortunately, our banners, something's wrong technically, our banners are not across the screen. And if you'd like to check out the affiliated New Thought Network, I've been a member for over 20 years, you can go to the website newthought.org, newthought.org. So I invite you to check those out. Let's get back to our fabulous guest, Dr. Angelo Pizelo, via Skype. Welcome.
Welcome.
And so we were just talking about fear before the commercial break, and we were talking about energy, etc. And then I mentioned this idea of Ho'oponopono. It is by Dr. Liu. It was in Hawaii. It was discovered. And it is where you take responsibility for a circumstance and you have a practice of forgiveness. Please tell the people about Ho'oponopono.
Well, Ho'oponopono, Dr. Joe Vitale actually discovered what was going on, and he found that there was a man named Yu Lin, Dr. Yu Lin. He was therapist at a mental institution. It was at the Hawaiian State Hospital for the criminally ill, and so Joe Vitale called him and interviewed him over the phone, and then they got together and wrote a book called Zero Limits. And so if you're really interested in this, go to Zero Limits by Joe Vitale and Dr. Lynn. But anyway, the bottom line was this, that and it has to do with this vibratory thing. The highest vibratory level that we can imagine would be love, the love energy.
Yes.
The love energy is a healing energy. And what Joe found out when he called Dr. Lynn is that what he would do, he would look at and he never, these patients were so bad, you couldn't, they had to be chained, they couldn't talk to each other much, they were violent. And many of the staff in this hospital would quit. They had a very large turnover level. And so what Dr. Lynn would do would take all the files, and he would have the files, and he'd take each file. And what he said was this, through this whole Ho'oponopono, is that we are responsible for everything that's in our life. It's in our life, therefore we're responsible for it. Now, it's hard to take, because you can say, how can I be responsible for some idiot who's doing something wrong, or how can I be
doing something to me
for the terrorism? But what Dr. Lenz said was when he went over these files of these very criminally hardcore, insane people, is that he would take the file and look at it and say, what is it in me? What is in me that I need to heal that is part of this situation? It's kind of interesting. And where you take responsibility for everything in your life, including here's a file with someone who's a rapist or a murderer or whatever, and you look at it, you would review the file and you say, what in me do I need to heal that is part of the situation? And he did that with each of the files, to the point where the temperament started changing, the atmosphere of the hospital started getting better. People stopped wanting to be home and stopped quitting. The people who were violent started becoming more docile, and it got to the point where it was so docile that they eventually closed the section there that was for the criminally insane. And his statement is this, and he would look at a file and you'll see, what can I do to heal myself that will change, that will heal this situation? And he used these 4 things. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. It's kind of interesting. When I first read that back several years ago, I decided to do some experimentation within one of our churches, our Power Living Center, and we had magnificent changes in the lives of people. I use it now constantly. I have used this all the time. When something happens in my life where my vibratory level goes down, I get into fear, because we sometimes can have something happen that we're uncertain about. We need to realize that when we face uncertainty, that's kind of cool, because that's when we can go within and have the divine energy express itself in our life. But when I find myself handling a situation that's really creating some problems within my own emotions, I'll stop and I say, I love you, and I'm talking to that energy within myself. It's all having to do with energy. I love you. There's that healing energy, the highest form. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And just repeat it over and over again. Dr. Lynn did that over and over again, and he said, as we heal ourselves, we actually are so connected to the universe. Remember now, early on in the show, I said we're connected to the electromagnetic energy of the universe itself, which is the energy of the universe itself. It's the essence of the universe. When we create that love energy within ourselves, we are actually not only healing our own, but we're participating in the healing of the universe itself. And Dr. Len's quite a good story. Some people would disbelieve some of it. Some of it's not believable, but if you check it out, go on the web and go to Ho'oponopono, it's right there, and Google it, you'll love it. Whether you can believe the story about the mental institution or not, that's not important. What's important is when you use this love energy to heal yourself, you're healing the world. And so I use it all the time. I find myself using it on a daily basis. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And as we heal ourselves, it's magnificent. It goes out and it literally heals the universe. It sounds like foo-foo, but when you experience it and it works, then you know it's okay.
Okay, so it's that simple. We can find a circumstance that's upsetting to us, or we're going through something, or even if we're angry at ourselves for its decision or a choice we made that we're not pleased with, we just stop for a moment in our mind and say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Correct? Do we have it?
Keep in mind this. Now, when we start looking at this whole idea of the universe and the energy, we need to always realize that there's a longing, a divine longing in the universe itself. It's a divine longing for us to evolve spiritually, for us to evolve. And it's kind of an impulse that we have to evolve to a greater understanding, to a greater consciousness. That's what this is all about. So what we need to do is look at the idea of what is happening right now, what is in me that's causing me to be distressed. Remember this. We have everything we need to be successful in this universe. We do not have to treat or pray for anything. All we have to do is be open. There's nothing to do. There's just something to be. We need to be that divine energy. We need to realize that everything that happens to me, everything that happens to Angelo, contributes to me in some way. So if something's happening to me and I don't accept that, where I'm disconnected from that oneness, where I bring in fear, I need to reflect on everything that happens to me contributes to me. So what is it in me that's causing the fear, the anxiety, the uncomfortedness? And then when I do that, then I say, I love you. I'm talking directly to that love energy. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. We heal it. And I'll tell you, when you start practicing this and becomes part of your daily diet, it works. The other thing is to start the day properly. And I always say, I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for this day. Every time you get up in the morning, you set the tone. I'm grateful for this day and all the love and abundance that comes my way. We set the tone. And then if something's happening during the day that we're uncomfortable with, or that doesn't jive with us, there's some out of sorts, I keep remembering everything that happens to me, Angelo, contributes to me in some way. What is it about me that's causing me discomfort? I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I'll tell you, it works. And
I love
I've
it.
used it now for, gosh, must be over 5 years. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
And also, people can just go onto Google. It's Ho'oponopono. So it's Ho'oponopono. So it's very easy to find up. Or just Google Hawaiian forgiveness prayer, and you can read all about it, and it's pretty fascinating.
Or go to Amazon or one of the distributors, and you can probably get the Zero Limits. You can get that probably used at minimal cost. So
Zero Limits
that's a good way to do it too.
Yeah, by Joe Vitale. And he was in that movie,
The Secret.
The Secret,
He was one of the major people in The Secret.
Right, exactly. I want to read an affirmative prayer out of this book that I've been talking about this evening called This Thing Called You by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And it says here is that when you say, I know that the divine intelligence, which is another word for God, is attracting certain conditions to me, and when you've affirmed your union with good, that you can go about the business of life, everyday life, without any anxiety, and just knowing that the law, which is what we say the action of God, how God works, we call the law, that is working for you. And here's the affirmation, Angie, it's great. The kingdom of God. Now we know God is good. You could say the kingdom of good. The glory of God, the glory of good is here and now. I'm forever a part of its being. The perfect law of God is now operating in my affairs. There is no strain, stress, or fear in my life. I am in the presence of radiant joy, of divine love, and perfect power.
Wow.
Isn't that a good one? Yeah.
I love it. That's beautiful, Janine.
Yeah. That's Dr. Ernest Holmes in This Thing Called You. And there's so many in this book. This is if you looked at my copy of this book, you would see that every page it's highlighted in a variety of colors, because this is my go-to book for affirmative prayer. And when I just want to help myself to remember that I'm one with that magnificent presence and power. Well, this is our last commercial break. It's a quick commercial break. And when we come back, what we're going to talk about is Emerson Institute. Dr. Angelo Pizelo is the Dean of Emerson Institute, and if you would like a systematic study of these New Thought spiritual principles, if you'd like to learn more about practical spirituality, or if you'd like to get credentials, you can do it. Check out emersoninstitute.edu, and we'll be back in just a few moments with Spirituality Rocks.
I follow my inner guidance peacefully, joyfully. I am divine.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hog's hair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
Dad, where do babies come from?
Well, there's Dad's big, shiny rocket ship. That's right, it's filled with babies of all kinds. And when the shiny rocket ship penetrates, Mommy and Dad goes, and when the time is just right, there's a space launch.
All systems go.
Babies of all kinds, released all over the place. Yeah, Africa. Mommy's Babylandia. That's right, it's filled with babies. After an amazing 9 months, babies. And that, son, is where babies come from.
But Jake said babies come from
Planet Babylandia.
You go, play
with us on the bus.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round.
Wheels on the bus go round and round, all
through the town.
YesWeCare.net is a 501c3 charity that provides help to veterans and their families. Please visit YesWeCare.net and donate in any way you can by purchasing our beautiful framed prints or relaxation CDs and DVDs, even smooth jazz CDs. YesWeCare.net. Remember, our troops are on their way home. They need all the support they can get. YesWeCare.net.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm Janine Burns. We're here with Sabit Mchunguzi of Unity Church of Healing Light. That's unityhuntingtonny.org. And we have with us via Skype Dr. Angelo Pizelo. You can check out emersoninstitute.edu. And I know you wanted to expound a little bit more, Dr. Angelo, on the point we just made. Please go ahead.
Yeah, what I love about Emerson, we're celebrating, well, we started it as a pilot 24 years ago. What I love about it is exactly what you were talking about today, we were talking about. What our goal is, our mission was to take this beautiful belief system and promulgate it throughout the planet. and not putting obstacles into the way of the people who want to learn it and who want to minister to it or be a practitioner, but just to facilitate. That's what we are, and it's kind of exciting. So what we do is, we were talking about fear. The important thing is this: we need to look at real life activities with the people on the street who come to us, and we can't give them all this jargon. And but we need to give them some practical reasons on why they can change their lives. So we want to enhance lives, and we do that by showing real examples of what they're facing in their own life. For example, we mentioned energy. Energy is important. When they can have this energy, a sense of danger when they're entering a room, my God, what's that all about? And we say, what's that all about? So we start getting them into the process to where they are one with us. They're magnificent creative beings connected to the energy source of the universe itself. And they're in total communication. So the important thing is to realize this: when things happen, we're here to experience the whole enchilada of the human experience. That's what we're here for. We're here, and I mentioned earlier, we're here to evolve in conscious, to learn about who we are at the spiritual level. We're spiritual beings experiencing this. I always like to say, hell, Angelo is on vacation on planet Earth, and I'm here to enjoy the darn thing. And that means I'm here to enjoy it and to be a witness to it, but not be attracted to it or not be attached to it or embraced by it, but to realize that the universe is operating on an intellectual, on wisdom, that this idea of God is intelligence. And so it's always these things are happening, but we tend to put labels and say, this is bad, that's bad. And what I said was, everything that happens to us contributes to us in some way. And what we try to get through to our students is this, that, there are really no bad things that are happening. It's all in divine order. What appears to be chaos and evil and all that, it's the dynamics of the universe itself, where we're growing in consciousness, experiencing all this as witnesses to the experience, not being absorbed by it, but witnessing it from a very strong percentage of who we are, that I'm the spiritual being enjoying and experiencing the dynamics of the human experience, but not being attracted to it or not being engulfed by it or embraced by it. Right. And so when we realize that what may look like chaos is the workings of the universe itself, God in action, we can't say it's all good and it's all God, except when. No. If we truly believe in New Thought that it's all good and it's all God, then we need to realize that all the happenings that's going on now is an evolution. It's an evolution of spirit, bringing us to a higher understanding of the creative life force of God itself. And so what we're looking at right now is all these things that's going on in the universe seems like chaos and evil and all this. We need to realize that God, it's all good and it's all God. And I know this may sound terrible and people may turn me off on this, but the bottom line is what we're experiencing is the intelligence of the universe itself operating in its own way, bringing to us experiences that's going to help us evolve in consciousness to the truth of who we are. We're spiritual beings occupying bodies. We're here to witness what's going on, but not be attracted to it necessarily or be embraced by it or embodied by it, but just to be there to witness it and then stay centered in this love energy. And that's what Emerson's all about. Emerson right now, I'm available, my staff's available 24/7. We have people calling us who are excited about the New Thought Belief System. We don't expect them to join us or to even take our classes, but I love talking about this. I first entered my first New Thought Church in 1970. I celebrated my 44th year, July 1, and I'm turned on for it. I can't get enough of it yet. I'm still in the learning process, and we all are. But I think what we're seeing here is, rather than being concerned necessarily, being connected to the divine. We are one with God. God is, and God is all there is. That I have been given everything I need. There's nothing for me to actually do. There's nothing for me to heal. There's just something for me to reveal. And that we need to remember that. We reveal that oneness that we are in all our actions. Now with Emerson, you can go online, You can join Emerson as a center. We've got lots of centers who are affiliated with us. You can also be a student if you desire and go online, and you can enroll online. You can just take individual classes. We have on our website probably 160 classes. This thing called You is PS 101A. It's one of our basics. It's wonderful that Janine was talking about. But if you don't want to do all that and you just want to talk to the guy, Angelo, or Bob Hand, or Stella, or Joan, or anybody that's in our office here, or Sandy, then you just call and say, I have a problem. Can you discuss it with me? Just this last week, I had someone call I don't even know her, and she called from New Jersey. And she said, I've got this problem. What can I do about it? And I went through the whole thing with it. It was just awesome. She emailed me and said, thank you so much. It's wonderful. So it's taken this beautiful belief system, promulgating it. There's nothing to be fearful of. It's just something to realize, who in the heck are we? Most of the people leave the planet not fully understanding their true potential. Our potential is that we're connected. We are connected to the electromagnetic energy of the universe itself. We're continually talking to it by vibratory means. And that my thought is vibratory, so if my thought is shadowy and dark, I'm going to get back that shadowy and dark thing. So what we need to do is take people where they are and just kind of don't throw a lot of terminology at them. Just say, here, what is the situation? And try to show them what they're experiencing in their life can be changed with the changing. Now, we say, change your thinking, change your life. We always say that. When we start looking at vibration, that it's a vibratory universe, then we change a little bit. We say, change your vibration and change your life. The vibrations are emotions. What is the prayer? It isn't the words, the affirmation, the words. I'm open and receptive to this love energy that expresses to me today. Those words aren't going to do squat. It's the emotion, the feeling. Yes, this is true. This is going to happen. The emotion, this is the vibe.
It's the feeling. Looks like we have a little Skype. Looks we have a little.
Universe itself that will bring us a response.
We had a little Skype snafu there because. Wait, we can't hear you. Yeah, Angie? We're going to take a commercial break. We're having a little trouble with our Skype, so we'll be back in just a moment. We'll fix this up. We'll see you back in a moment with Spirituality Rocks.
I follow my inner guidance peacefully, joyfully. I am.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3/4 of a cup.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
said continue.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I apologize. We have a little technical difficulties because we are doing this Skype show tonight on my Samsung 5 telephone. And so I want to bring back Dr. Angelo Pizelo, who is talking about your vibration and your energy. And I always say that feeling is the fuel that propels thought into manifestation. So go ahead. What were you saying? Please continue now.
Well, what I'm saying is that we go to a higher level of consciousness when we are confronted with something that appears to be disastrous. All we do is go to that higher level. In our case, we were confronted with this fire coming over the ridge, so we did a prayer treatment, and something magnificent happened. Well, a C-10 bomber, which has like 30,000 gallons of retardant, they were heading to a different fire up north, and at that moment of our prayer, and we found this out later, the pilot said, let's drop our load at Bass Lake, it's closer, and he dropped that load, and it was about the time that we did our prayer treatment, we went to that higher level, that they dropped that load and helped prevent the fire from expanding. And it's just amazing. We are connected, this vibratory nature that we are, so we change our vibration, we change our frequency. We say change your thinking, change your life. No, change your vibration.
Wonderful.
Change your frequency.
Great.
And that's what that was all about.
Awesome.
So
And
I
now
know we're out of time.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're running close to the edge here. If you don't know, Dr. Angelo Pizelo is in Oakhurst, California. And of course, there were those terrible fires recently, and that's to which he was referring. And that's a fantastic story, how the plane dumped the chemical there and then was able to go back. Yeah, that's a great story. So I want everybody to remember emersoninstitute.edu. Dr. Pizelo, what's the phone number that we can tell the people?
559-642-4616.
That's 559-642-4616. Fantastic. And
or they can go to Pizelo at sti.net.
P-I-Z.
Or Emerson at sti.net.
Okay, so it's Pizelo at sti.net. And I think that's an incredibly generous offer that people can call you and just talk about these spiritual principles. That's fantastic. We asked the studio audience to like us on Facebook. Look for Spirituality Rocks on Facebook. Look for Emerson Institute on Facebook. Look for Dr. Angelo Pizelo on Facebook. Look for Unity Huntington on Facebook and like us. If you have suggestions of who would you like to be on the show, or if you are a New Thought teacher or you teach practical spirituality, you'd like to be on the show, please send me a Facebook message because we'd love to have you. Angelo, I want to thank you so very much. You are such a venerable person. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. I know we're going to be seeing you on the cruise. That's next April. I believe it's the people can go to newthought.org and find out about the New Thought cruise to Cozumel. I'm going to be on it. Dr. Pizelo is going to be there, his wife, Dr. Stella Pizelo. So thank you so much for being on Spirituality Rocks.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
All righty. And so don't forget, next week, I have a list of guests that it's like the who's who of New Thought is going to be on the show. So you can check out Spirituality Rocks on Facebook. I'm going to put the list of upcoming guests on that. And so we thank you for being here with you. And we say to you, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. And this is Reverend Saba Mchunguzi and Dr. Janine Burns signing off for Spirituality Rocks. We'll see you same time next week. Thanks for joining us.